Gang, how do we get this way? Nigga, that shit to say when I get this way. Having a fit today, so they wanna make a bitch today. My son's mom went gone, it was really wrong. I thought it was gone. The vomit searching for my son, but I didn't go John Muhammad. So the devil's right here on this level, wipe tears. Cause when rebels ready to pop the heavy metal, why fear? Abomination, they've been faking, consecration, hating, wasting education. Got the killer on the killer, gotta chase him. Go!
All right, what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE. Joined here, well, we got weird cast of misfits today. We're missing Ewok, which I'm assuming he'll come in eventually. But we have still the reigning, defending, undisputed choke show of the world, Drazcor.
You know, so at the event, I think it was Josh, actually. Josh is like, so is this like, you know, we'll get to what happened. He's like, does this mean like Wookiee's not going to call you the choke show anymore? We're like, oh no, Josh. He's going to double down so hard. You don't even understand. Like,
have you met that guy before? He's brutal.
We will get to this. We will get to it.
And we got Keyforge's resident PhD, Dr. Sheep.
Hello.
And special guest, because he was there, Sunday.
Thank you for having me.
For no other reason.
Totally no reason.
At all. No other reason, just Sunday was there. So yeah.
Speaking of people that were there, I was trying to get Suddenly Elf to show up, but maybe he actually will. Like, in theory, he's part of this cast, in theory.
He used to show up all the time.
Yeah.
Totally uninvited. He was just here.
Maybe we should just say ahoy a bunch. Maybe he'll, like, you just say it 3 times, like Beetlejuice, and he'll appear.
Yeah, say it in front of the wind, like the mirror, 3 a.m.
Yeah, if you say ahoy 3 times, then just like,
suddenly appears.
Yeah.
But Buckets to go over today. She was probably going to be playing a lot of TCO.
Oh, God, I'm already looking for a game. I'm bored.
So real quick, final game found number, 453,325 and 54 cents. Didn't quite get to half a million again. So, I don't know.
Well, this is way more than I think we anticipated, right?
I anticipated way lower.
Than I said.
I said it was going to hit under 200K.
Well, then
a little off.
They came out with this, what do you call it? This scam of, hey, help your local game store, and hey, there's also another set, and
2 sets.
Yeah. Hey, you guys like Keyforge? You got some money?
At least they changed the game found up significantly in that regard, and it's not just exactly the same as the game found, because like the pledge levels are basically the same identical boredom.
I will give you that, because
instead of a stuffy, you get a coin.
You get a really crummy we'll get. Oh.
We don't know if it's crummy. Nobody's touched one.
We saw it in a video. They're like
vapor. You saw a mock-up of one.
A rendering.
It's a rendering, yeah. They don't have the physical ones yet. We haven't seen a physical image yet.
I can't wait to see
vaporware.
I can't wait to see the look of disappointment on all your faces when you get that in your game phone. I'm gonna need pictures of that. Not Jurassic.
I paid $600 for my game found. All I got was the silly.
All I got was the stupid coin.
Yeah, I didn't spend enough to get a coin.
You see, actually neither did I. So, but I think because I am going all in hard on my store, right? Told them I'm buy a bunch of stuff from them, and I think you guys are a little jealous because right now, if you look in our channel, GF backing stores. Which store has the most thumbs?
Your mom. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Yep, my mom's store.
Your mom's
You got
store.
it right.
Let me see. I don't even know. This was thanks to Locacar. Locacar set this whole thing up.
It's my store.
This is thanks to one of our listeners, Raiden, who asked me, and I said, you know what? This sounds like a Locacar thing.
Yeah, totally.
And you said, hey, Locacar, do this.
Yeah. I was like, Locacar, look at this good idea. And he ran with it.
You like data. You like data entry.
That's right. You are good with spreadsheets and data.
This isn't even a spreadsheet. This is just thumbs up.
List.
He'll put it in a spreadsheet later. He loves data.
Oh, it'll 100% be in a spreadsheet. Yes, I agree with you.
Right now, the Games Keep in Westchester, PA is number 1, most votes. So that's
Well,
awesome.
that's because you've got your whole crowd in our Discord.
That's right. Totally biased and
Hey,
totally awesome.
We've gained like a easy 100 people in this Discord over the past 3 days for no reason in
easily.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None.
Nothing happened.
Nothing
Because
happened. Nothing to
we're
see
the
here.
coolest kids.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
something like that. All right, but let's get into Rochester. There was a vault tour. If you missed it and you've been living under a rock and haven't opened your phone or Discord app within the past, 3 days, Rochester happened this weekend. So let's go through. So you guys arrive on Thursday, and you guys see Josh and CTP.
I was there like the Friday before.
Via
USPS.
Yeah, this cardboard sheep did arrive way early. This is true, but I didn't see cardboard sheep until Friday. Although
that was Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's because I got stuck in a dryer, man.
Yeah, you did.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you were gambling.
And
you got stuck in a dryer. Was that a slot machine? It was
that nasty
it was a good
gambling
time.
habit.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you win anything?
No, I did not.
Just a stuck in the dryer surprise, perhaps.
Yeah, I saved the pocket lint.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
nice.
why would you do that to me?
So I get to the hotel. It's so actually my journey to the hotel, I was in a DoubleTree in Charlotte that previous night, and then for work, and then so I have to fly back to Philly because that's where my work will fly me to, and then I get so one of my buddies, Metal Zoa, he picks me up from the airport, and we drive 5.5 hours to Rochester. Although he pulls it up on his phone, and it's like almost 7 hours. I was like, what the heck? What the traffic's not supposed to be this bad. And then like after a while, when it has us going off the highways and all these like little tiny roads, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like pull up the GPS.
And he's got to avoid interstates.
He's got to avoid tolls on. So it's so we turned that off, and immediately it's like, oh no, it's only 5.5 hours.
You're
so
5 minutes.
So we got back on the highway.
Yeah, weird story. You're 5 minutes away.
Yeah. So yeah, we get there, and so he drops me off actually because he's staying with some friends. He's a member of Tavern Brawlers, and they've got a whole bunch of that team has a bunch of folks up there.
Yeah, we had the party house. It was me, Metal.
Oh, were you there?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it was me, Metal, Captain Stupendous, and then Captain Stupendous' roommate. We were chilling at their place.
That's cool.
So,
That's
it was
cool.
fun.
Did you guys do anything exciting Thursday night?
Played a lot of Keyforge.
Nice.
That's kind of it. Yeah, we're just like prepping and stuff.
Are they named the Tavern Brawlers and there wasn't drinking?
Yeah.
We did not drink.
Yeah, you heard that right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay.
We're the party
There's nothing
team.
wrong with that.
We're the team that goes out the night before top 8s and just gets absolutely shit-faced and then wonders why we didn't.
I was saving that for. I was saving that for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Yeah. So I get the hotel, and they're at the hotel bar. They're like just closing up, but hanging out there is Josh and CTP. So.
What the hell is CTP doing there?
He's never been to Rochester before.
Yeah, he can expense his trip to the company, right? So it seems pretty good. Like he actually works.
Is he not like? Seems like he'd be the least useful GG employee there.
I mean, maybe. Well, he was, because there was only 2, and one of them was Josh, and one of them CTP, and Josh was running the thing. So he was definitely the least useful.
Was CTP just on like getting Josh coffee duty?
I mean, not that far away. Like it was definitely
he kind of like helped with like sign-ups and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
registration.
He did like help out with a little bit of stuff.
Yeah, and then at one point he left his like laptop at the place, so like Josh had to lug it back to the hotel. Actually, I think Marcus did. We had to walk back to the hotel because CTP left with the car at one point. And like, we're jumping way ahead. This is Saturday night now. Like I'm there.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah. Okay. So, in any case, we'll get to the walk back to the hotel. But But yeah, I was just chatting with the guys, and it was interesting because Josh definitely called me Drazkor, and I was like, I wonder if CTP is gonna be like, oh, it's one of those Archon quarters.
It's one of those people.
You assume knows who we are. That's
No,
a
I don't.
big assumption.
I didn't get that. We were we were just chatting, and so I didn't get a oh, it's this guy vibe or anything. So that was cool enough. And then stayed the night there. I roomed with Chimera, who I've seen on the Discord and stuff, but I hadn't really talked to him. So I'm like, well, I hope he's not a murderer. And turns out he's not, or at least not in this case.
I'd hope he's not a murderer.
We are
Play
risking it for
Keyforge in person with them off.
I survived.
locals.
We are
there you
risking
go.
it for the biscuit here in Keyforge. Boy, I hope he doesn't murder me in my sleep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
vouched for him for you.
You did. After I already agreed, I was like, maybe you should check.
Drazkor, if you've
yeah.
learned anything, you need to learn we are not good influences on anything.
No. No, but he was
Like, even if he
a cool
was, he's like,
dude.
oh yeah, well, he's a known murderer. She would have been like, yeah, he's fine.
Yep. Yep.
I would have just said, you know,
Sleep with one eye open.
yeah, you know, just wear your body armor to bed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So yeah, we get up, and so Chimera and I walk across the street. We go to the Steve's Diner, I think it's called, across the street. It was Steve's Original Diner. And so
How many Google stars does it have?
Oh, let's see.
You
The
didn't know
original
this
Steve's-
beforehand?
Well, I did 4.4.
Okay.
So there you go. That's not bad. So we go across the street, and Chimera's like, I'm pretty hungry. So he gets the max breakfast or whatever. And
He's not a
it's
very
like,
big dude.
no, he's not. And so
Is that like
it's
the
like-
4-car pileup that X-Ray got in
Yeah.
Kansas City?
well, it was reminiscent in not in look, right? So the 3-car pileup, or however many car pileup, was definitely like this mound of food that was outrageous. That wasn't this, right? It was there was a plate that had like sausage and like bacon and hash browns or something, but then there was another plate, and this other plate was like not like a plate you think of as like, let me get my dinner on this. This was like a pizza dish,
a
basically.
tray, a platter.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was I don't know, how big was this pancake? 16 inches? 18 inches across? And there was 2 of them because it was the max meal. And so it comes out, and we're just laughing hysterically at the size of this pancake. So he ate a little bit, and then I ate a tiny bit, but I already had my meal. And so he had this massive plate of pancakes. So we had to walk around a bit. So I was like, well, there's a coffee roast across the street. Let's go there. Because you have to work it out. So yeah, so we leave the the original Steve Diner, and there's a liquor store right next door. And so we're walking, and the worker like grabs the door. It's like 9 a.m. grabs the door and opens it for us. It says, "Good morning, guys." It's like we're like obviously 2 dudes at 9 a.m. who need to go to the liquor store.
So what'd you buy?
So we didn't go in. We're like, oh no. So then I was walking away. I was like, I know. I was like, we should have bought something. We should have gone in, bought some local liquor or something. But this woman was like, I see you too. You are clearly had just finished eating at the diner and now need to get shit faced. So
Yeah.
Maybe they'd get that a lot. But no, we didn't do that. And then we walked across the street to the coffee roaster. We get all the way there, and I realized Chimera's like, "Oh, I don't drink coffee." I was like, "Oh, well, I just dragged you over here." He's like, "Oh, I got to work out the pancakes," but got some good coffee, and went back. Showed up at the Millennium Games location, which was pretty cool. I don't know, Sunday. What was your take on that store?
There was a lot there. That's for sure. I mean,
Sunday, are you sure you don't want to give us a meal by meal play of your events there too?
I had a packet of oatmeal.
That was your breakfast? There were so many good options.
No,
Ugh.
I was like, we were chilling at like Captain's place, and I was like, yeah, I'll just have something light.
Gotcha.
So, worked out.
Did they-
Had oatmeal.
Do they all just eat?
Yeah, we had like there's like cereal, oatmeal, and like other like like basic breakfast grains.
Gotcha.
Gives you the energy for like 2 hours, then you crash.
So you have to
Love
buy
it.
the snacks they had at the Millennium Games, maybe.
Yeah, I had a couple of those beef sticks.
That wasn't
last
a
night
real
today.
invitation to talk about more food.
Well, I'll tell you, we
Yeah.
got to the store. The store is huge, right? It's really big. There's lots of board games, card games, RPGs. There was a whole like disc golf section. I know there's some like
Yep.
ABR folks who are super into disc golf. I don't know. So you guys missed out if not being there. There was a lot of discs there.
I've seen a couple like game stores that also just happen to have like disc golfing equipment too.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Disc golf's
falls in
pretty
like a
big.
similar vein, which is kind of cool.
I mean,
golf
you
is pretty
either
big.
find it at the game store or at the head shop. That's where you find disc golf.
I play regular golf like a man. But anyway,
I guess I'm not then. I play disc.
In like a fool?
Yeah.
There's two
I
things
toss
in life
frisbee.
where you can just bang your head up against the wall: Keyforge and golf. Like like these.
You're
It's
doing
all
both.
it's all in the same phrase. So we're doing okay.
Nice. So we go to the back room, and it is pretty big. Like, and it's nice. There's a lot of tables. Although I guess they did jam the tables in there.
Yeah,
so
that
tightly.
was not
Yeah.
fun, and especially for
They-
like Marcus too, like having to go and like check in on like. It's not like it was like tight. Like there is no room to walk past. Like if people are sitting at some of the tables, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, at one point, like if you're in the middle and it was like, oh, I have to get to a different table for my next game, you had to wait for everybody else to file out.
Yeah, I was supposed to play like round like 3 opponent on Saturday, and I'm like, I'm just gonna like stay here because actually it was suddenly we just talked for like 20 minutes because there's no chance in hell I was getting out of those the chairs there. So that was like, yeah, big room, just tables were a little too close.
Yeah, but it was a cool place, and there's plenty of light because there was like, windows and stuff. Sometimes you get in these rooms and it's like you're in a cave, but no, it was actually very well lit, which was cool. But so there was a lot of folks there, a lot of teams representing. I mentioned the Tavern Brawlers. They have a whole bunch of local folks, right? Jupiter is not too far away. He's like one of the captains. Southerly Elf is on that. My buddy Metal Zoa, who I drove up with, he's on that team. We also had the whole bunch of folks from the Weekend Key Warriors. So a bunch of folks right from New England, right? And then Team Redacted, that's my local Philly folks. So we were all there with our shirts, though my shirt arrived on Saturday at my house, so didn't have it. But so once again, I just wore my SAS and Archons Corner stuff, which I'll continue to do. But the SAS one, of course, was a little
off flavor.
Yeah. Although
Holding on to for a long time.
although we did have a couple guys show up. Like J Power was there.
J Power was there.
Yeah, he showed up. Which
Interesting.
was
Jason and Jared.
Yeah, Jared showed up, and Jason actually brought his whole family, which was kind of cool. So I got to meet it, say hello to his wife, and I guess say hi to his kids. But so it was cool to see him. But they played Archon. They did not play Alliance, which was interesting. But yeah, it was cool to see them. I haven't chatted with them in a while, but they did not wear any SAS regalia. So, and then actually there was a bunch of the Sloppy Labwork guys were there. So, both the
a quick draw JT
on the cast, right? They were
JDG,
there.
I think.
Yeah, and there was like a few other folks. So
Yeah,
so that was cool.
it was a pretty good show.
Yep. So
Were there a bunch of Baywitches there too?
There was a couple, I think.
Yeah,
It wasn't
but
like
they didn't,
how it was in or and KFC.
Yeah, they weren't wearing like their whole outfits and stuff, so I didn't like notice like a swath of them. But I think there was one or two of them there. So, and there was, June was there from Reap Out, so but she might have been the only Reap Out person. So, um, oh, of course, then we have AC. AC was there.
Yeah.
So, but for the main sealed event on Friday, we had 61 players. So, I think that was I know Josh obviously was hoping to cross more than what we had in Rochester, or excuse me, Roseville, here in Rochester, which we certainly did. So that was good. And
Let's see. You got 61. That's almost double.
Almost double, yeah. Roseville had, what, I think 31, 32 in sealed,
Something like that.
if I remember.
Yeah, 32
And then it was
sounds right.
And then it was 36 Archon 29. Yeah, so it was more than it was almost double of what Roseville was, which is, in retrospect, I think a good thing.
Yep. And there was more folks than that there. There was definitely some local folks who showed up who were just playing pods and stuff and not, participating in the main tournaments. So there was definitely it definitely felt like there was a good number of folks there. Which was cool. So I opened my decks. I was looking at them, I was like, all right, well, I opened terribly in Roseville. Definitely when I opened my decks here, I was like, okay, I've got way better options than I had previously. So I was feeling like I had a decent chance to do well. Had some good options, had to really weigh some trade-offs for my third house. So so that, felt like a way better opening experience, if you will. So that was cool.
I think I caught your luck though.
But yeah, you did not open well, right?
No, I was Marcus saw my decks at the one. They open all the decks prior to the event. That way you don't open the decks early or switch decks. And he looks at my decks and he's like, "Oh, that's bad."
Not what you want to hear.
Yeah, and it turns out, it was bad. All three of my decks had both Unfathomable and Untamed. None of which had
my
really
new racket. I can sit at the registration day and I'd be like, you know what? You could find something else to do today because
yeah, it was like, oh, I guess I just lose. So I built something interesting. I had like a fun double Pester Grove pod with like 8 Amber Pips in it. There's like a Lost mod with like 2. So I was like, you know what? It worked well in like one of the local store championships that I played in. And I was like, I'll give it a shot.
If you can't irritate someone who can.
Yeah, and then I had a Brobnar with like big creatures in a Brawling Grounds. And then I had a bunch of choices, but I ended up going with this Equidon that had also some big creature options and then some steel. And then my game 1 I faced against Fabulosing, and they have I had Brobnar. And it was a better Brobnar than my Brobnar with Pester Grove, so I lost. And I don't even know what happened the second game. I lost that too. So
all right. So Draz goes 5-1.
Yeah, I lose my first game actually to Wadka. And
it's called Winka.
Sure.
You call it Wadka one more time, you're gone forever.
I'm gone.
Just forever. Is
that bad?
Wow. Oh my god! Like I heard so much of that at Roseville. I'm just like, no, that's a dumb name. Never.
All right, Winds of Death, Key Abduction,
Windka.
So I lose that first. It's actually Metal Zoa again. So the guy I drove up with, face him, and so I lose that game. I was like, because I like my decks, but it's like it's tough to lose your first match. But then I'm able to win the next 5 in a row, which felt pretty good. Right, I had some stuff that was able to fire pretty good. Double Haunted House with a Well of Memory, so I was able to pull them even if they were in my discard out of my boo or something. So that was a huge part of my engine. and then my Untamed pod was pretty cool because I had Mimicry and Spooky Charge, Cauldron, and then the Dark Heart of the Forest, which actually I did not play once on day one, but I think I played it every game.
Dark Heart.
Yeah, yeah, I think I played it every game in day 2, which we'll get to. And then my Star Alliance was really the only source of either A or C I had in the deck. So I picked it for that, even though SAS wise it was definitely lower than some of my other options, but it did have really good both draw and pipe pip placements. So that made up my deck.
All right, moving into Saturday, we had the Archon Alliance. You guys said,
"Oh, you missed the Drascore experience."
Oh, was that on? Was that on?
Talk about the Drascore experience.
I thought that was on Sunday night. I'm sorry.
Sunday came along.
Oh yeah.
Okay. How was the Drascore experience?
Yeah, so it was one of these things where now that the word's out, so like there was a lot of people approaching me, like, "Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going?" I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
Shit, I wasn't prepared." Oh,
So like finally, and like there was a lot of "where are we going," but then like people injecting their opinion, which is fine. Like I appreciate the opinion, but at the same time, I'm like, well, like we just got to pick something. There's no way we could keep everybody happy. So actually, a bunch of folks had already gone to like some place called Hot Shots or something, which is like a volleyball bar.
that sounds familiar. That might be a chain.
Might be.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, so a bunch of Team Redacted was over there. And so some people ended up going that way. But we went to the Daily Refresher, which was it seemed like a cool combination. It was open late. They had, fancy pants cocktails, which I like. But they also had a great beer menu. And they had a good looking food menu because I was real hungry. So bunches end up going downtown. So Sunday, you were there.
Yep.
We had
Southerly was.
Yep, Southerly came. I was like, "Is he got a fake ID?" But I didn't say that out loud to the bartender.
Chimera was. I can't
Chimera
remember.
was there. We had Critnado was there. DG Dude was there. Who he's in our Discord. I'd never met him before, so it was cool to meet him.
I think that was all of us.
Yeah,
it was a small crowd, but it was a good crowd.
Yeah, so originally there was going to be some other folks who said they were going to show up there, and I was like, "We're not all going to be able to sit at the same table."
Yeah, they went to Hot Shots. I know.
yeah, that's fine.
Metal and some other people. Yeah,
but it was actually really cool. We were outside on the back deck, and it was just like the perfect night. It was cool, but with your liquid jacket on, you felt great. And they had like a wood fire going.
Yeah, there's like a wood stove. One of my hats still smells like a campfire now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am not wearing this on Saturday because I don't want to smell like a bonfire. So we're good. But yeah, It was a really cool vibe. I liked it.
Yep. So that was a good time. That was a good place. You never know. Like I look and I read reviews, but like you never know when you show up these places. Sometimes you get an awesome experience like this place was, and sometimes you get an experience like Wookie you had when Sheep and I went out and tried to go places in Minneapolis and it just didn't work.
Yeah, that was terrible. We should have gone to the 99 beautiful women's and 3 ugly ones.
That was a great sign. I mean, for that sign alone, I was tempted.
At that point, I still didn't know it was in there. I had an idea, but you know what? I was willing to give it a shot.
Nope.
It's a strip club for all of you who don't know.
Didn't figure that one out. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we passed it 3 times, and I'm like, man, I wonder what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked my boss, who's a Minnesota native, was like, yeah, it's a strip club. All right, Saturday.
Yep.
55 Archon players, 10 Alliance players. But before we get into all that, you went to Sunny's Final Diner.
Yep.
I feel like this is just a Food Network episode of where all the places
we're just gonna
score 8 at.
Yeah.
So we went. So it was myself, Critnado, and Chimera. We go there. And so we're just like talking, and the food was really good, actually. I would recommend Sunny's, I think, a little bit over Steve's. Food was really good. Talking with Chimera. So we're just talking about what people do. Turns out Chimera is a nuclear physicist working on experimental reactors. So like he's like, oh yeah, like work on this like liquid sodium reactor, and I'm like, wait, tell me everything about this. So we talked about nuclear physics for I don't know, an hour, and I thought it was fascinating. Crit NATO probably thought it was awful, and I pretended to know like what I was talking about from all the YouTube I watch. And Chimera actually knew what he was talking about and was probably like, this guy's an idiot. But that was kind of fun.
You know, when
So-
you're a nuclear physicist, I don't think you're like, oh man, this guy's an idiot. Because I can't imagine there's a ton of nuclear physicists roaming around out there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I dabble. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, I dabble in nuclear.
physics.
I dabble in nuclear physics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I happen to partake in some.
You know, on the
Yeah.
weekends, you know, when the kids aren't around, I do I do a thing.
Yeah, the other night I was
Yeah, some people,
refining
you
some
know,
uranium.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people they like work on a project car, like renovate the
Yeah.
house. Yeah, I just in reactors, right?
I drink beer, brew coffee, and do a little nuclear physicism. Physicists. Or, yeah, why not?
I think it's the verb nuclear physicism.
I don't know. I don't know what the verb to that is. To be honest. All right, but we had 10 players for Alliance. So basically,
Yeah.
Boy, I
Yeah.
feel bad for the 2 people that were outside of Top Cut.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like
Yeah.
that was going through my mind. I'm like, wait a second. There's gonna be 2 people
Two
who
people.
More
don't
people
get
are gonna
prizes.
get playmats than not.
Yeah. I think I do think that GG was thinking that people would jump over when they saw that there was only 10. But hey, the prizing is just, Vaultmaster 24. So
Yeah, and I'm gonna say like some of the lists in Alliance that were like going around were pretty nasty. So odds like some people are, and I was considering jumping over to like very last minute on what I was deciding to play, and I mean there's just like it was basically like a mini Worlds level tournament with like the quality of lists. It was just like if it was like a Roseville situation where like you could run in both tournaments, yeah, I would have seen more people, but yeah, it was
Yeah, turns out
kind of
unless
expected,
you're
unfortunately.
possibly getting paid to play Alliance. It's
It's like
it's a second choice for most people.
right. Yeah, you wanted to get, if you're playing Alliance there, you were probably either going with an Alliance or you had one that you were borrowing, like a good one. No one really decided on a whim like, oh, I'll just play Alliance. So
Seems like it's not a major popular event to go and a big draw for the Keyforge
Replace it
events.
with adaptive.
Oh my God,
yeah.
shut up. I will kick you off the show faster.
there was
I will go back to
definitely-
being just me.
we can talk
swear
about
to
that
God.
later.
Yeah, there was
Talk about
definitely
that later.
adaptive going on. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
All right, so
I heard.
So word on the street is that we were Okay, so there's been a lot of questions for me and other people. CTP dinner raffle offs.
Yeah.
So like, did I have to
Yeah.
purchase these tickets to have a dinner
No.
with CTP?
No,
Was
everyone
everybody
that,
given one?
Everyone there on Friday who registered got a ticket into the
Okay.
drawing, and then they did the drawing Saturday. So it was
And
kind
then
of like
was the dinner on Ghost Galaxies? Did you have to pay for your own dinner? But he just was there.
No, he
I
paid
would-
for the whole thing.
yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think it was on the house. Yeah,
Yeah,
from what I
like
heard.
it was. I mean, I didn't go.
That sounds good.
It's
But
actually good, Josh. I like.
Sheep,
like,
I
theory.
owe you $1. He isn't as stiff of a prick as I thought he was.
now what drives me nuts, and I haven't actually looked at this list that Drascore has for us of what was discussed there. But these are questions that we have been pinging. I know have been sent in. Some of these have been sent in as questions.
Or
I
emailed,
know. I know Josh and Jeremy get annoyed by us constantly for some of this information, and nothing. And then now there's a ton of it out there, but it's all coming third hand from people who went to a dinner. So it's not like you're getting their
Hey, but if we-
interpretations of
listen,
whatever he said.
If we've
It's
learned,
ridiculous.
if we've
It's
learned anything,
ridiculous.
it's we can't trust first-hand sources from the owner of the company.
Yeah,
Just remember
And then
that.
it comes out
Just
of
remember that.
GG's mouth. Though only a third of it's true, anyways.
If it comes out of CTP's mouth, it's a coin flip. right? We learned this from what, 22?
Just
22
like marketing.
KFC? So
50-50.
50-50. You got a shot. But we're going to
Ridiculous.
try to get said person on maybe next week.
Yeah, I've got a extremely detailed set of notes from so two of my locals went. One of the guys took notes. He sent me a 35-point list of all the things that were talked about, and apparently he was the one asking most of the questions. Now this is actually one of my locals who has only been coming to the store for a few months now. He played Keyforge back like pre-pandemic and then stopped, and then heard that we were at the store and was like, hey, I'll pick it up again. So like apparently not that many other people were asking questions, so it was just all the questions he wanted to ask, and my other buddy Mammon. So Straganate and Mammon, I think
Maybe we just have both them on next week. Set it up, Drascore. Make it work.
Yeah, you know what?
Make it so.
Yeah, all right. We'll do that. We'll
Mammon,
I'll
I'm
reach
sure
out
will. I don't know your other friend though.
Yeah. I'll see if they'll come on.
Pretty sure if you would have rigged it so even if you won, Wookie, you still couldn't go. Probably.
No.
I have no doubt in my mind.
I think so. I don't.
They took the other half of Drascore's ticket and put it right in the garbage.
Well, I mean, but so you could totally hand your ticket to somebody else.
June's was just like
right in the
because
trash.
like one of my other locals, other than Mammon, actually won the ticket, and he passed it to Mammon because he knew that Mammon like knows
far more interested.
Yes, and wanted to go, so he passed it to him. So there was nothing preventing you. Like if I had won, I wouldn't have been able to go because I had to attend the sealed top 8 that night.
So this isn't like, hey, we're all done, and these people. It was while things were happening.
Well, just the top,
just the dinner part, and then sealed. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So.
We didn't need 2 GG employees. One was good enough.
Yeah.
Well, right. Well, this is what. Right. So remember when I was like, CTP took the car and left, and then at the end of the night, Josh and Marcus were like, "Wait, we have all this stuff. And there's CTP's laptop, and we're like, how are we getting back?" And I was like, "Well, I know how to like walk back to the hotel, so I led Josh and Marcus through the dark." Like up this hill, and like poor Josh has got this like super heavy backpack on, and Marcus has to lug CTP's laptop. I'm like, oh, you guys are working here. I don't know. I'm just gonna walk. So, well, I had all my stuff though, but so yeah, we had to like cross all these roads, and like we walked through this parking lot at one point, and it was.
Did you get propositioned by another liquor store?
No, but we definitely.
Hey, come here, little boy. You want some booze?
No, there was definitely long conversations about. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what it was, but long conversations and a lot of trudging up hills and deep breathing. So,
and you guys had to take a break in between.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, once you get to the highway, you have to like.
Oh Jesus! Did you guys have to walk on the highway?
Well, we had to go over the overpass, right? So you have to like make sure you don't get hit by like the on and off ramps when you're.
Oh my God! He didn't even come back to get you guys.
Jesus.
So we were like basically within eyesight of the hotel when CTP called back. He's like, "Oh, do you need me to pick you up?" He's like, "Well, we did see the hotel, so."
But we'll go over that probably next week. We're gonna try to get Mammon and Draz's other friend on. We'll see if we can.
Rad 8 Gen.
Rad 8 Gen. Drazcore.
SPR 8.
Anyways.
Yep.
Drazcore makes top 8 and inches out JT Russell for the top 4 in top 4.
Also, so actually we also in the Archon, I actually went 4-0 as well, which really surprised me. I didn't expect to go 4-0 and make top cut in Archon. So that I was pretty happy. I did face Sunday, and
Sunday was
probably
get kept.
Probably favored in that match because your
Is
deck
this sealed?
did.
No, this is
Archon.
Archon.
Yeah, we're
Archon.
still
I'll
in
talk
sealed.
to
I'm going by your notes, bro.
You skipped the Archon.
I did
Bit,
not. You
yeah.
have Archon top 8 on Sunday.
So
Oh,
we
no,
played
I see.
Archon
Okay.
main rounds, and then we played.
We're bouncing around. We're
Seal top
bouncing
8.
around.
Yeah, you also skipped the part about some kid
Listen, I can't
executing
read.
cardboard sheep.
Oh no, I was coming back to
Yeah.
the kid executing cardboard sheep because that was the highlight of my weekend. Where it's like, oh
Yeah.
man, this kid's just pecking off cardboard sheep with his Nerf gun, and then like 20 minutes later,
kid
you're
did
like,
it
oh
multiple
shit, he
days,
brought a
too.
bigger one.
Yeah, she
Dude,
was
like-
being shot on Saturday and Sunday. It
Oh,
was,
it's
pretty brutal.
This kid was going nuts. Like, I watched this kid unload a whole Nerf clip into Sheep's face, and then like he reloads and he does it again.
And then he went and got another gun too.
a
at one
bigger
point.
gun.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh hold up, I got a better one.
Yeah. At one point, he's like leaning. It's like this big, heavy one. He's like leaning on this chair to like hold up this massive.
At
cannon.
least, hey sheep, at least we know your face is shootable.
Yeah, it hurts when you get shot in the eye, you know.
Good thing you got those
He was
glasses.
smiling the whole time. though.
Safety glasses next time, guys. Think of me.
Yep.
There you
He
go.
is the safety guy at his job, so safety glasses. Word on the
Yep.
street is you'll be not only wearing safety glasses, but a t-shirt next time. But we'll see how that goes. All right, so Draz and Sunday, you guys, you were both 3-0 at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you knocked out Sunday.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I
not
got his
knocked him
first
out,
loss.
but-
Yeah, that was my
First
first loss. Yeah, so I'll say because I was playing a Ruth Winds of Death key abduction deck. I was borrowing it also from Fabulosing. Thank you again. Aquidus is the deck name, and it's got Ruth in Mars with a key abduction. So you can kind of get where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah,
it does stupid stuff. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I like my deck a lot, but so I was running Arya Pylon Genius. I like it a lot. It's fast, it makes a ton of Ember, but it doesn't do anything like unfair, if you will.
Yeah,
Like it yeah.
It's a
What are you
pretty
talking
fair
about?
deck.
Winds? I'm sorry, Winds. Grim Reminders is a completely fair and balanced set that needs
Yeah.
no attention or
Yes.
more modification to.
it has no issues.
Yeah, I mean
Perfect set.
my deck is basically the cool things in my deck is I've got 4 in here somewheres, so I could set up Big Bursts and Brobnar with Brick Nasty, Double Shock Herder, Cacophonous Riot, or Mars Craziness with Double Rebel, the Doctor, Double Grabber Jammer, a Mating Season. So I could just make a ton of Ember, and I've got good creature control, but I can't just like, key abduction, forge a key for free, or it doesn't have an MMR, it doesn't, so I was trying to forge keys the normal way, I guess. Which
You're trying to play Fair Forge.
Yeah.
which surprised me that I was able to go 4-0. I got lucky, I think, honestly, against Sunday.
Yeah, that-
yeah.
So I had a reference. I had combo set up, and I pulled my archives. I had 2 cards left in deck that were Mars, and I think I had like 5 cards total. And one of them Spectral Ruth, and I had UFO in hand. So I was at the point where if I couldn't really draw into the rest of my deck because I have like a 17 to 20 card hand. So I went for the 50-50 on the UFO. Unfortunately, Ruth was the legitimate last card in my deck. I got 2 keys off, just couldn't finish the game off for the 3rd.
Yeah. It was close. I managed to
It was really
make it
close,
happen. Yeah. It was a good game. I felt bad that I had to take you out, but
Yeah, it happens.
had to be done.
All right, so let's Keyforge after. Well, okay, so let's get sealed top 8 was at the end of Saturday.
Yep. So everybody goes
Um,
off to dinner. CTP gets in his bus or whatever with all these folks going off to dinner. Folks are going out. But I hang out for the sealed top 8, and I'm feeling like I got a chance, but
earned
it,
his name. The Choke Show.
yeah, I did come in second again.
Always
yes,
a bridesmaid, never a bride.
says runner up. I have won before, sir. But not I guess not in a while.
It was a fluke.
So sure. So I was actually, I think I was lucky to escape the top 4. So I played GT Russell, and he did at one point make a mistake that he pretty quickly realized. He was pretty convinced that if he hadn't made that mistake, he would have probably won. He may well have been right. I had the Dark Heart of the Forest ready to go to try to protect myself, but he had played his Keyforge prematurely and then was unable to play. Well, he played it and it didn't forge him a key. His what's the Star Alliance key cheat? The
Forging an Alliance?
Forging Alliance, yeah. So that didn't get him a key. But that was only would have been his second key, so maybe I would have been able to hold him off, but it would have been harder. So I managed to escape that game, go to top table with SGS, and they are running a Island of Misfit Toys, Haunted House, just triple junk restoration. Triple junk restoration with Island, or was it triple? I think it was triple. With Island of Misfit Toys that's a lot of Geistoid. That's a lot. And so they I did manage to win the first game, but then second game they got their island going too fast. I don't have any artifact control, and the third game my draws were just real bad. I couldn't do anything at all. I was actually wondering afterwards if I should have swapped out my Star Alliance I talked about for the my Mars pod that had double Glimmer Spore. But that would have been so crazy at that point to be like, I'm gonna give up my winning combo so far to basically give up all my A and all my C to just get more Ember and artifact control. So I didn't do that.
And that's why you're the choke show.
There you go. So that's just one. It was a good set of matches. And yeah, this close. This so close to taking it down. So
No cigar.
Yep. And that's when we realized we had to walk back to the hotel because the store was already closed, so like everybody else was already gone. So it was just really just Josh.
It's like
Marcus,
you two and Josh and Marcus.
Yeah,
they kicked everyone else like 30 minutes out. Like 30 minutes prior to close, they kicked us all out.
Mhm.
They're like, go home.
Go home. You're not welcome here anymore. Yeah. All right, Sunday we get the Archon top 8, and we have the Alliance final. Why was the Alliance final not just done on the day?
Well, you just skipped Keyforge After Dark.
I'm sorry.
Stuff, sir.
I know. I said Keyforge After Dark, but you guys played AOA Shredder?
Yes, we played AOA Shredder. And so this actually, June and I jointly organized this, though, of course, then like she had to start it without me. But we organized it at the hotel bar at the Doubletree. And so I had actually, during lunch on Saturday, I went and bought a whole bunch of candy and snacks from the grocery store that was in the same strip there. So June, she took all that stuff, and they're playing sealed AOA with gummy bears and M&Ms and all sorts of Cheez-Its and cheesy popcorn. So
but Shredaptive.
Oh yeah, Shredaptive. Yeah,
you guys that was really fun.
Tell us about that.
This actually sounds like an acceptable form of adaptive.
It is actually a lot of fun. You could do it in a BO3 or a best of 1, up to you. But what you do is, instead of bidding chains, you bid shreds. And then whoever takes the winning deck has to then shred the top X cards of their deck. If it hits like a card that's like if it hits like your shredder card, then you just get another card.
Yeah.
But like, so like if you bid like 7 shreds, you're shredding like a good chunk of your deck. You're shredding like a fifth of it.
I was just thinking actual standard adapter rules, but with shredder decks, where you play best of 3 with shredder decks, right? So like, game 1, then you trade. You have to play game 3 though. Like, and if one, you got to figure out something for that, because you have to play game 3, because the third game is where shredded decks really get interesting because they're really thin at that point.
Yeah, it gets to the point where
Which means you shred a deck every round. You know, like because you play around, you shred that deck, and it goes in the garbage. And when you start,
Uh-oh.
I had the same decks for all three. It got to the point where we were just cycling through the same hand, and we're just trying to like eke each other. Whoever had board had won.
Yep. So like that is how Shredder ends.
Yeah,
for sure.
it was a lot of fun. I actually had really good time before I realized, oh hey, I'm actually not at the hotel, so I had to leave. I was like, I had to go get an Uber and give 20 minutes back to where I was staying.
But yeah, we closed down the bar, and then we moved to the other section, which was basically the dark, but it was fine. It was Keyforge after dark, so we were playing these dark tables in the corner. It was actually a ton of fun. And then there's actually CTP ends up showing up, so we're playing Shredder, and he's there. So
was it like, oh man, mom caught us?
Kind of. But we just continued, so it was all good.
Could get him to shred? Harry's not a big fan of my format.
No, he didn't. He did not shred. He was chatting. And at one point he mentioned something about, hey, the dinner and salt and whatnot. I was like, was it the food that was salty, or the conversation? So he laughed at that and said he was talking about the food. So, at least that's what he said. So
at least that's what he said.
Yeah.
That's because we weren't there.
Well, no, actually, I think I don't think it was, because I think, like I said before, we'll get to the next episode, but as to what the questions was. But from what I understand, most people were not asking questions. So, anywho,
all right, I didn't miss anything more, right? We can go into Sunday now.
I'll allow it.
All right, Archon and Alliance finals were both held Sunday. I didn't see any alliancing going on stream, but I was kind of in and out on Sunday.
So
it wasn't
Alliance
final.
It was only the finals, yeah.
Okay, so it was just that one. It was just a final table.
Yeah, so since it was only 10 people, they ran it as like just kind of like a 2-0 up to final 2.
And then they just okay, fair enough.
And then they just ran it, yeah.
All right. And then Drazkor, living up, twice in one weekend, living up to your name of the choke show, losing the second act.
I mean, how come Ewok didn't have? He triple choked.
Huh? I remember a time where Ewok couldn't. I remember a time where Ewok couldn't even make top 8.
Well, he's had some good teachers.
Okay. I mean, but we didn't name him the choke show. We nicknamed him. We named him anyway. Drazkor, tell him what you're choking.
Yeah, so I did lose the second act. It was it's always awesome to play a second act. I looked at his deck. He was playing Plimpton of Cyclolitin Matrix. Basically, it's again Island of Misfit Toys. But this time with a Well of Memory and a Spectral Ruth, all in Geistoid. So basically can just archive everything and just cycle and just make 1,000,000 Ember, and then use his Veil of Ectoplasm to just capture 1,000,000 Ember every turn. And it was pretty oppressive. I thought, I was like, hey, my deck can really burst. I said, hey, going into the game, I got a chance. If he isn't able to get down his key pieces early, then I actually think I might be able to win this match. And turn 1, he just plays Island of Misfit Toys pass to me. And I was like, shit, I'm in trouble. Right? Like he had an opening hand. And so I was like, all right, now I really got to hit the gas if I want to have a chance at this. And I was not able to hit the gas, and he ran away with it. So he played great, and it's always great playing with second act. So he moved on from there. I guess we didn't talk about the field. So I guess real quick. So there were so obviously 8 decks. 6 of them were
5 GR.
Really?
That was 5GR.
Oh, you're right. 5GR. You're right. There was a MM in here. It was actually Virus.
Virus, yeah.
Yeah. So George played Virus.
Yeah, I see
And-
5GR, 1 wins of
Oh,
exchange,
2 wins,
2
and
wins of
1
exchange, and 1 MM.
So there was the
Yeah.
Scholar Spam, and there was
Pippa.
It was Constantino. It's like
Yeah.
a tempo deck. Bot token tempo deck. I
It's
actually think
bot,
it's
but-
I think it's the first bot deck that has ever made top 8, so that's kind of cool.
I think that's right. But the real key is it's got 38 expected Ember.
Yeah. It's double puzzling trinket, double transporter platform.
Did that come from
It's-
Canada?
No, this
That
was
came from
it was Jupiter's
Southerly.
deck.
That came
Yeah,
from
Southerly ran it. It's Jupiter's deck.
So just to mention, it's a bot deck with 38 expected Ember that only is expected to make 12 bots per cycle. So it's a bot deck that doesn't quite make bots.
I make 1 or 2,
That makes
right?
enough.
Thanks
Yeah.
enough.
Right,
you
but
can,
I'm
with the
saying it's
puzzling
more
trinkets.
it has nothing to do with the bot. It has everything to do with 38 expected Ember.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the puzzling
Hey, let me
trinkets,
gaslight
you
them.
can turn your pips into a damage to kill a. Oh wait, no, that's hold on. I'm thinking of Cadet. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not Cadet. Yeah,
it's not
so
not even Cadet.
it
All
has
right,
a
there you
token
go.
from Star Alliance. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's filled with really good cards. It's got, double mix, a rebel, hypnotic command is in there. It's got a talent scout. It's got good cards. So
And it had a Southerly.
and it had a
And has
Southerly.
Southerly
So don't let its bot fool you. Doesn't really make too many bots.
And Bandola was in again this time, run by Mike Fooney, the owner of the deck. And
And Chimera was there with his named Chimera deck,
Yeah.
which is also a Winds of Death.
It's Winds of Death
Witch Queen. But he's got the Chota.
He has
that
the
thing-
deck.
That thing wrecks our locals around here.
Yeah, so
Shows
the
up,
deck
he beats us up, and we go home and cry a little bit.
it has OTK potential. That is the big thing with his deck. With Wave of the Porcupine and it has I think like 1 or 2 haunts. I think it's 1 haunting witch, but yeah, it just makes a bunch of amber chotas 3 times, and he can they're ready, so he sends it into a creature that has Wave the Porcupine on an opponent's side, and just gets it back in hand immediately. So yeah, it's a really nasty list. It haunts our locals.
And it do.
All right, and here's what you're all here is the reason 16 people are sitting in this chat room waiting for this one thing. We have final act, and thou. Are we saying thou that will to which shall
No,
not be
we're-
named?
that
we're just
shall
gonna talk
not be
about
named.
controversy. Right.
Yeah.
So
There's a
we-
controversy.
There's totally nothing wrong that happened at Rochester. It was a perfect event with no issues whatsoever.
So we had controversy at Rochester, in more ways than one.
oh yeah.
So, there were reports of extremely sloppy play. There were reports of sleeves being damaged, and by reports, I mean there's pictures of this shit floating around. So if you're wondering, it does exist. Z blew up that channel. I tip my hat to you, sir, because I was losing sleep at night trying to follow this damn channel, and I got to work in the morning. So thank
me.
you, Z, for blowing up that damn channel. We appreciate you. So basically, short and skinny, we'll kind of give you the whole skinny. Player etiquette was by a certain individual reported to be piss poor at best. So make sure you're being nice to your fellow Keyforgers. Unless it's Z, you can be mean to him.
Or Wookiee.
or-
Totally
hey,
wrecked
listen.
on Wookiee.
Listen, some of us can take it on the chin like a champ, right? Like
Cardboard sheep isn't a complainer either.
cardboard
You can do
sheep
whatever you
don't
want to 'em.
complain. Shit, I don't even. How many boxes of sleeves are going out with my terrible selfie I took at like 1:00 in the morning?
I got a box coming to me.
There's like 5 or 6 boxes rolling out there.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with it.
Big dog
Listen,
gonna show up.
the big
Big
dog's
dog.
coming in. All right. But the biggest thing was sleeves, and this kind of drives me a little bit batty.
Yeah.
So basically, the number one report is there's faulty sleeves on a whole house. Now this was witnessed, and unfortunately, Southerly is not here. Which
It
is
was
one of
2 people actually.
It was 2
witnessed
people.
it.
It was Southerly and
Yeah.
Mike Funai. Southerly happens to be a member of this cast who did not show did not come in today. So unfortunately,
Not
we're
everybody is in super supportive of you guys going off about this. So.
Well, and that's fine. But I mean, I think the big thing is number one, and since we have Josh here, we do need a better
No, don't bring him into it.
What do you mean?
Leave the guy alone.
Leave him alone for now.
For tournament guidelines, I don't believe we have a good tournament guideline structure on what constitutes warnings, yada yada, so on and so forth. Can we all agree upon that?
Agree.
I agree.
The floor rules for this game right now are mostly wish-washy, non-existent. There's a little bit in the tournament guidelines, but it's not much.
Right. Not only on top of that,
enforcement is a whole another issue.
Well, the enforcement on that one, you had CTP, Josh, and Marcus trying to control 65 people.
Yep.
Good luck. I'm sure they did a great job because, I mean, I how do I say this? I'm not even going to say this nicely. CTP probably wasn't the most useful of people. Like, so basically, you had Josh and Marcus. Right? Am I kind of in correction? Like,
yeah, that was kind of like it in regards to like
CTP was cool.
Like,
he was probably roaming around, shaking hands, kissing babies.
He didn't do a lot of the logistics of it. It was basically all.
I feel like if I was judging a event at this level, if I told I had 15 tables that were my problem, that doesn't seem unreasonable.
Yeah, but the one it's 30. And then you got side events firing and other sealed pods and like a bunch of other shit. Sometimes they do. Second Amber doesn't. Second Amber gets paired as regular rounds do, and it's still judged.
Only 30 tables total.
Yeah, but for one person, if you have multiple judge calls, which happened, there were a lot of instances
30
where
table sheep. You think you can juggle 30 tables?
No, I said I could do 15.
Oh, okay.
There are two people. Josh was there, and
but Josh is running the logistics of the software.
Not during the middle of the round.
Oh.
He clicks go, and assuming it doesn't break, he waits.
Well.
Yeah.
There was the least breakage yet on playstyle.
Logistically, it ran well.
There was a problem, but like this was the least we've ever had. So there was only one break.
It's like second Amber only as well. It wasn't even
that was
the main event.
was my thing too. TO is not able to make judge calls, are they?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes, they are. Your right size event. The TO is the judge. He's the only person there.
There was actually an issue with playstyle that that came up. So Sunday, was it our game that Marcus came by and said, "Hey, can I see your playstyle for a second?"
It might have. I don't remember it being to me.
Okay.
It might have been to you, and I'm just like blanking on it.
It's possible. So he comes and looks at it, and he like presses the menu because I'm like, "What is he doing?" He presses the menu and scrolls, and all of the admin features are there and live.
Oh boy, you're the wrong person to give the admin features to as well.
So I see this. He closes it quickly and hands it back to me. So basically, I'm like, so I'm
you got promoted.
I was like, I can do anything. I'm a god. I can drop people. I could do whatever I want.
You should be like, suddenly.
I can change my. Why do you think I went 4-0? So I'm like, all right. So I don't say anything because I don't want somebody to
We had enough controversy in this event. We don't need Drazcore yet. We don't need the Drazcore controversy of dropping players.
Oh, Draz destroyed just dropped everyone, and he's the only person and he won.
What? I thought it'd be funny.
So I don't say this to anyone. Maybe if you press the button, it would have errored when I did it. But definitely there was buttons that I'm like, wait, those shouldn't be there. So that was interesting.
Number one, there does need to be some level. Oh my goodness, we're now into the point of whether a TO is a judge or not. But Z says a TO is not a judge. That's kind of was my always assumption of the situation as well. Sheep is telling me I'm wrong. I'm kind of in a wrong spot. Domino now saying Tio's not a judge, event organizer, aka tournament organizer.
But it doesn't
Person,
say
group
they
of
can't
person,
also
organizer,
be
sponsor.
the judge.
Hey, it's Z.
Hey
Hi, Z.
guys. All right, so we ran one of these events in case y'all forgot.
Yeah, you forgot. My duties was streaming, and I had no
You
involvement
didn't
in
even
it.
do that.
I
Well,
tried.
that's pretty.
The quinceanera stole all the bandwidth. The fuckers.
You had one job. One job.
I asked for one thing. I'm like, hey, can I get some internet? And y'all are like, yeah, we
Yeah.
got you. And
They
then
did drop
I
the
show
ball
up,
on us.
and then the IT guy comes down and goes, yeah, that's not how that works. And I'm like, but I was told I was getting this. And he's like, nah, bro. Like, that was the end of that. So
All right. My point on this is we did research. We talked to people who ran other Keyforge events in the past and the Pokemon stuff that was still happening in the world at the time. At a premier level event, the TO should be the one that judge calls are escalated to when someone is arguing with the head judge or field marshal of the event. That is what the TO's role is in judging if it's actually a premier event. Whatever the hell y'all just went to is not a premier event with the amount of people and staff y'all had. So that's my 2 cents to add into that.
Sure, it was.
Sure.
I think what he's saying is you can call it whatever you want, but there was not
That's
adequate.
exactly what I'm
There
doing.
was not
Call it, I want
adequate. There was
Y'all
not
had one
adequate
judge
staffing.
and one staff member. The other one
Yeah.
was there for show and marketing. Like, if you want to call it a premier event, that's fine. I can put some kind of ballet thing on a cat and call it a ballerina too. But it's not going to work out.
Oh, jeez.
That
So,
sounds interesting.
I'm out.
actually.
But I do
Huh?
think the one thing we did learn from all of this is that, yes, we 100% need floor rules and tournament guidelines to be a little more clear and
I don't know, the
maybe
thing-
a little more enforced.
The thing that came out to me was that players going to this level of event should
Know the rules.
maybe
Yep.
have looked at the rules for the event, which means maybe in the actual thing when you sign up for a vault tour, maybe right there on the sign up page there's a link like, here's the rules, understand what you're expecting, because like it's totally okay to go to a vault tour and be a casual and not be concerned if you do well or not. Like, that's great, but you do have to go there understanding that most people are going there with a very competitive mindset, and going there to play willy-nilly whatever is not going to fly.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, in the case of me, I flew out there, and I didn't pay for lodging. But in the instance of paying for lodging, I'm not going there for free, and I'm not going for cheap. So, not going to speak a whole lot on the situation, but
We had 3
I
days
wish-
of talking about the situation.
I had way too much to speak out.
But
about.
yes, there does. Well, and I can't remember, and I'm trying to remember Roseville now. Duncan used to do a thing, right? Where he would get up in front of everybody and kind of be like, you're expected to know the tournament rules and guidelines. Here is the expectations of how things are going to go down. If at any time I don't think they do that anymore.
Of course
No,
not. Is this our yearly, like, we have this exact same show, not with quite the amount of shenanigans having happened, but we have this exact same show every year, which is, it was so much better when this and this and this, and like that's
No,
not
I'm just
the
wondering if
regime, and it's not
I-
changed. It's
again,
not going
I
back
understand.
to that.
Yeah. I think,
sheep's killing me. No,
Yeah.
I'm saying, is this a thing? And I can't remember at Rochester if that's a thing
No.
that Josh
there is-
necessarily did. Because I know
no,
he
he
has a
never
talk.
said anything like that.
I know he has a talk beforehand, but I can't remember if it was here's the expectations of how things are going to go down.
He kind of just went through like a schedule of the events, but nothing in regards of like ruling or anything like that. Basically, like, time for rounds is 45 minutes. You have an issue, call judge. Like, that's short and sweet.
Because, I mean, we do have rules for this type of thing, right? Of, bad etiquette, bad play, bad this, bad that, but we don't have any sort of, we're like, okay, you can be issued a warning. And short of like flipping a table,
Yeah.
Is you're like literally I'd have to like flip a
It's
table
like-
to get disqualified.
Yeah, like nothing's gonna come out of it. Like,
I
Yeah.
mean, they enforce a no cardboard sheep rule.
Well, you're just not allowed to play.
Well, that
Yeah.
one kid was definitely enforcing that for sure.
oh yeah,
He had
he
you
was,
on
he was not
lockdown.
having it.
He was like, "Thank goodness somebody brought this cardboard
Somebody
cutout
for me
of
to
this
play
kid. I will assassinate."
I have a friend. But if you are listening to this, make sure that your sleeves are in good condition. Maybe buy a fresh pack.
Yeah, so I think let's underline that a little bit because I know there's folks I talk to there. I've had things myself where it's like I did, not super pay attention, and then it's like you go to deck check and they're like, hold on, like you need to like this needs to be better. Like look at this, look at that, right? Like it could take more responsibility myself even for making sure that everything's 100% clean. There's no scuffs. There's no anything, right? Like I sort of just relying on, the judge will find it if there's an issue. Like I think I'm going to start going through and really.
I mean, I have
looking.
never shown
Definitely.
up with not fresh new sleeves on whatever I'm playing except for one time, and that was when I played Fraud. I didn't touch sheep's
I
Well,
had
but
sleeves. Oh,
so
go ahead.
even so like I
That's
did
like
that.
Fraud's fourth event on those sleeves.
So yeah, so like, but even
That's
so,
the
like
only
if
time
you're
it plays.
right, like even so, like if you're crossing, even if it's like the same exact thing you're buying, right? If you're buying Dragon Shield and it's like, oh, I ran out of this box, I'll buy the exact same box. It
Crapshoot.
might not be exactly the same,
Yeah,
which
and
I know I'm gonna pay extra attention to now. Which
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like I for at least for Roseville, I showed up and for my top cuts, I had my instances where I had like 3 or 4 sleeves that I had replaced for both sealed and alliance. I had the exact same sleeves for both events. And so there's only like a couple instances where I had to change stuff out, and then in the Keyforge Open, I had to switch my sleeves because I was running those Vault Tour sleeves on my deck, and those things are fragile. So I was like, I just went up to G. I'm like, hey, these are pretty worn. I only use them for the event. You'll probably want me to resleeve. He looked. He's like, yeah. But a lot of times it's, going forward, at least for me as well, it's going to be new pack of Dragon Shields, 1 pack only, and then
I mean, you get
covers.
you get 2 decks out of a pack. Of
You get 2 decks out of it, and then if I need to resleeve, I'll go buy a whole new pack in a whole different color.
Yeah, and a whole new, and then you've got all that. The problem is a lot of waste, right? You have all those extra
Yeah.
sleeves, but like,
But if you're attending, it's the thought process is if you're attending an event, you're traveling, you're already spending a pretty significant amount of money to travel and lodge yourself, unless you're like a local. Where, tossing an extra $10, $15 to get a pack of sleeves. Hell, you can split a pack of sleeves with a friend that's playing Archon.
Yep.
What's
a box of sleeves? 15, 16
It was like,
bucks?
I think the dual mats were like $14 at Millennium, and they had like every single color you could think of. So like getting sleeves was not like an issue. But if you're attending an event like this and you obviously are like, you've played a deck with a lot of sleeves, or you've played a deck with sleeves like constantly, you're playing at locals or something like that, you should probably consider switching them out for a vault.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
This horse
And
has
it's
been
just
beat.
good faith.
Ed is dead. The channel's been blown up. If you were here just to hear about the controversy, you can all go home now. You're probably already at home.
I think maybe some people were expecting brimfire and stuff. And,
Yeah.
like brimstone.
I lose my mind,
Whatever the
hit my
word is.
desk.
Originally
punch my wall.
we were gonna go there, but I don't know what's left to be said after Monday,
Yeah,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
There was so much in there.
It's all been
Right.
said. I mean, if you missed it, I'm sure somebody out there has the screenshots, and by somebody, I mean, I don't know, somebody. I
There's
forget
like
who is doing
four or
it.
5 people that are grabbing screenshots of it.
Yeah, the whole thing, basically all there is to say is do better because
Yeah.
there's nothing for us to really do. And then the only other thing
Well,
that there is to be said for us as players is if you're playing against somebody and they're being a shitty player, just get the judge over there and don't feel bad about doing it.
Right.
I can go on that tangent.
Yeah, just get a judge involved. Like, typically, I mean, there's not a ton of judge calls except for like interactions. More times than not, they were like, "Hey, I don't quite understand this interaction." More times than not, that's really not an issue. But like, this is a thing now. Unfortunately, we have to look over our shoulder and
Yep.
kind of, take advantage and not take advantage. Now, this sounds dumb.
I went to a lot of events last year, and the only time we needed a judge was when we both failed at some stupid most powerful creature rule.
Right. I mean, but yes, if you feel like your opponent's kind of being a D-bag, call a judge. If you have concerns about their sleeves, call a judge. If you have any concern whatsoever, person is stalling for time, call a judge.
Yeah, or hey, if it's if you're not quite sure where the archive is, the discard, the deck.
Locations of game pieces in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
Rule of 6 tracking. As I would say, one thing I will jump in on. Rule of 6 tracking, you should if you know you're going to roll 6, you're doing wins, you're doing like Big Mars, you're doing Witch Queen, call a judge over. Like, have them track it, because I can't tell you how many times I at least noticed within the now deleted channel, or just in general, like people accidentally messing up their Rule 6
Well, see,
and going over by one or
so here's the
two.
deal. These say, "Wow, we're holding." What's left to be said? I feel like we've turned every corner. The short and skinny of it is a person got caught doing something shitty, right?
Yeah.
Person got caught doing something shitty. There's two ways to go about that when you are the person getting caught doing something shitty. Okay? And we've only had this twice, and we've seen both ends of the extreme. There is, hey, didn't mean to, I'm sorry, is what it is. If this comes down to some sort of weird, like, punishment, I'll take whatever GG gives me, even though I didn't do it on purpose. Or you can be like, I didn't know sleeves were even needed.
Okay, so, and what Z is saying, and he has something there, is if it is true, and only Sunday of us were there, and he did not see most of this guy's games, is if somebody is receiving multiple warnings from the judges and the judges are not going beyond, then they are keeping this level at a casual event themselves, right? If the judges aren't willing to say, like, you need to do better, and if you're not going to, you need to have warnings and not play at this level. And if they're not willing to do that and they're still judging at a level like, oh, it's okay, you messed up, oh, it's okay, and they're doing it to the same people multiple times, it is basically saying to the crowd, yes, you do not need to be treating this as a premier event. And
Right.
that is a problem.
It's pretty frustrating, it is very frustrating. It puts a dark spot on what would have been a really good weekend, unfortunately. That's kind of all I'm gonna say on that topic for the rest of the night. But yeah, officiating really needs to change. Judging needs to change, because otherwise stuff like this will happen. People aren't going to trust each other, and it's just not good for the community.
All right. Enough being said on that. Let's move on to U.S. Nationals being held at a Gen Con near you. Kind of not a ton of... I don't think this is anything really... Did this say... We need an event key to register in a Nationals now, too? I thought event keys weren't needed for Nationals.
No, they're definitely for Nationals, but you don't need it until you're there.
Okay. So, Thursday...
So you don't need it to sign up on Gen Con's website.
Oh, okay. So, Thursday, you will have... Thursday, August 1st, will be the U.S. Nationals Sealed. Friday will be U.S. Nationals Archon. August 3rd will be the Alliance, and then they are running all the top cuts on Sunday. So, and there's even a link to the tournament formats and rules pages. Lots of other stuff there to do. I think the one thing that me and Sheep were most well, maybe Sheep's more irritated about it than me, is that if you make final cuts in multiple events, these will all rerun side by side, so you will have to choose one.
Yeah, that's I mean, there's
Yeah.
yet to be a weekend in like forever where there were multiple events where somebody didn't multi-top cut.
Right.
I don't think there's ever had a multiple event with multiple top cuts where somebody didn't multi-top cut. So it's going to happen here. And now you're only going to be able to pick one. And what are they doing with that slot in the other events? Because, like, I qualify for this on day 1 and qualify for this on day 2, and say I qualify for all 3. When do I pick? And then it's like, what, there's just free wins in the other ones? Or they're going to call up alternates and keep some kind of wonky list? I mean, it seems crazy.
Yeah.
I get from a timing point of view, if they want to run them on Sunday, that you can't stack them because Gen Con has hard kick out times and all kinds of stuff. But, you know, it does make it less attractive to want to pay for 4 days of Gen Con plus 3 events that if I do good in the first one, do I even bother playing after that?
Right. You might as well just explore the floor,
I mean, I know
Which there's
definitely
so many
if I
things to
was...
do, so
Hey, it is Gen Con. Like, yeah, you got other things.
Yeah, but it's Gen Con. Like, if you didn't sign up for stuff now, you're at random crap and walking the floor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? I mean,
you're literally walking
there
the
are-
vendor's lounge and looking at girls in tight costumes. That's kind of what you're doing at that point.
As people who were watching me stroll through Reddit, like girls in tight costumes are perfectly
That's a
reasonable
sheep thing.
for
He
my
likes it.
time. Yeah, I'm okay with this. But like,
by the way, there was a big discussion about this at Rochester. Anywho,
Sheep's Reddit was a topic of conversation.
yes, so so Jazzcore, like what was on the screen when
there was nothing that.
Yeah.
Listen, Sheep's Reddit. I asked for links. I don't know. It was like, hey, what are you looking at? There is still Keyforge fun to be had, ladies and gentlemen. If you decide to not play in any of these, or chances are you'll play in all these and fizzle in all of them, which will be my designated slot for this. If I end up going to Gen Con. But
is that why he's the choke show? Just so you don't have to have the title?
Shh.
Yep.
Don't.
I will also mention that in regards to the top 8, you can only pick one. This is only the case, as far as we know, and as far as we've been told. It's only the case for U.S. nationals. Any of the other international events, whenever those get noticed, those will be If you qualify for all 3, it's probable that you will be playing in all 3.
You're paying a lot of money to go to Gen Con for totally undefined prizes at this point, too.
Yeah,
which you can't expect to be better than a Vault Tours prizes.
Right.
So, if you're going, it's definitely just because you're an idiot and like play Keyforge like the rest of us.
I play Keyforge.
They do have more alternate choices, right? Because they got their own multiplayer format going to be played.
On the first, you're going to have Off the Chain, which is Unchained Alliance.
Okay, so I'm not playing that.
On the second, we're going to have something called... Oh, never mind. It actually says exactly what it is. It's called 3 Ring Circus, which is Menagerie Alliance.
That actually sounds fun.
Not going to play that.
Keyforge Casual, Insanity of the Architects. So it says, please bring the best Keyforge Unchained or Menagerie decks to Gen Con. Players will take a fellow Archon. Okay. So this is
Menagerie Archon.
or Unchained.
Okay, so I'm not playing that.
The Sunday one sounds the best, which is called Vault Assault. I think that could have been named a little bit better. I'm not going to lie to anybody, but all the Crucible is at your disposal in this fun multiplayer event. Players will bring any legal deck to battle in a 3 to 4 player free-for-all event. Barter with your opponents to gain the upper hand and forge 3 keys before everyone else. It's all the chaos and all the fun. That's all it says.
Well,
so what is that?
It's multiplayer Keyforge
format. We'll hear more information in 4 to 6 weeks about it.
You'll have to go there and find out.
Yeah, you'll have to be there and fizzle out of all 3 events to find out.
Do we still not find it interesting that there was a fair bit of feedback last time that, like, why are you guys not running Learn to Play sealed events? And there are no Keyforge Ghost Galaxy Learn to Play sealed Keyforge events. But Board Crunch is still running their
I was going to say,
stuff.
that's what Board Crunch is for.
Yay, Board Crunch.
Yeah, like, again, like, player base covering what should be getting wrong. I don't.
Well, you gotta, number one, you gotta pimp Mindbug 2. And then whatever game they got coming out at Gen Con, which will totally replace Keyforge.
Ghost Galaxy game 2.
No.
Yes.
GGG2.
Dude, if you got another game coming out and there's like, 7 employees? How many employees are going to this new game? You only have 7. And Janet.
Yeah, how do they not just have one person dedicated? And that's like their whole job. And I think their excuse was something about, well, we can't really sell decks on the floor, and they get put. I wonder if we're in the Coliseum 100 miles away again.
Probably.
Lucas Oil.
Oh yeah, they definitely
Josh
are.
told me it's in Lucas Oil. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely are. Well, that's where a lot of the tournaments are, so that's not surprising.
A lot of the tournaments, a lot of the miniature tournaments are there. Most are in that tournament hall.
But they clearly can do it, because they could have been doing $15 or $20 whatever Learn to Play events, and then your deck is part of the entry because they're doing that for the $60 seal. I just don't get why they don't do. I guess if you're only getting 2 or 3 players signed up, they all fail, and that's horrible. But I don't know. It seems crazy that there's not easy to play Keyforge there, unless you're super serious.
Yep.
Could you imagine being a casual and be like, oh, I'm going to play Keyforge. Oh, they have this menagerie thing. I don't even know what that is, but it's Keyforge, so I should be able to show up and play. And then you show up and you're like, what? You're like, my 3 Coda decks and my 3 OA decks, and you're going to try to...
I mean, they're charging, it's $60 to play in the sealed, $20 to play in Archon, $20 to play in Alliance.
I mean, that's normal. And
that's pretty normal.
That's about price for, Vault Tour.
Although
and also
without Vault Tour pricing.
And also, don't forget, you got to give them a key. You got to give up one of your keys.
3 keys.
And you had to pay to get into Gen Con. And pay for parking
and hotel and
it's
lodging
an expensive trip to go do this one.
Yeah.
So just that's all I'm saying is we don't know what's going on. Time number 15,621 of where we don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh, we'll know. It's just later. That's like the day before.
See, the problem with what you just said is that's 100% absolutely probably going to be true. Like we're going to find out like 3 days before. They'll be like, oh, we forgot to reveal what the prizes were going to be.
And then they'll actually be good, and people will be annoyed.
If they're good, that is really going to be annoying.
Oh, it's going to be, people will not be happy.
Well, that's what they did. Isn't that what they... No, not last year.
No, we should be happy if it's good. Come on, everyone.
Yeah, we should be happy if it's good, but give us enough time to be able to like decide whether showing up is worth our money.
It was the previous Gen Con when they made the new custom mats and stuff, but didn't announce anything.
Right.
That was the one where I was annoyed because I might have gone.
And you decided not to because there was going to be no official events.
And then there was...
semi-official events.
Semi-official events.
Yes, we'll call them semi-official events. And the pricing was actually like, kind of worth it.
Yeah, it was neat enough. It was neat enough for me. At that point, I was desperate for anything. Now I would not show up for a playmat. But that's me. And I have lots of playmats.
Yep. I mean, I'm still trying to finagle my way. Might sell my body, to get to Gen Con. We'll see. Eric Waters offered me a little snuggle session if he could sleep on his floor. I don't know. Just saying. Might take him up on that. I don't know.
Well, it'll be on the 13th. I'll find out if I can get a camping space at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, and I'll probably be last minute as I normally am. because that's how my job works.
It's only
Right.
$45 for the campsite.
Oh,
Woohoo.
well. But anyways, with that all being said, I want to thank everybody for coming in. If we did not give you
Live
your
up to
value
your
of
expectations.
if we didn't live up to your expectations of drama that we were going to unfold on this week's episode, I apologize. But again, I don't feel like dragging it back out here would have done much in the way of anything. I think this is a we needed to learn experience, and we need to learn from the mistakes, and we need better floor rules and better things that are going to allow this game to continue to be as popular as it is, making like $450,000 every 6 months, biannually, as they say.
Still $1 million a year. Pretty close.
It's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it, they've run
also
3
not
campaigns.
amazing.
It's gotten to them where they wanted to be. Again, we'll cover this next episode because your friend has
There'll be
weird insights on it.
CTP does comment on this, so we'll get into all that.
We have the scoop, as they say.
Yep.
In the biz, not this one, because this show sucks. But we'll see y'all next week.
Happy fortune, everyone.
May the
Something,
forge be with you. Are we going heavy metal?
Oh, that's the corner.
Hanging on like a parasite. Go!